Does Jesus have a mother? Let's talk about
Not in the ordinary biological sense.
one second. Jesus has a genealogy. Melchizedek doesn't have a genealogy. Jesus has a mother. Melchizedek doesn't have a mother.
That's because Melchizedek is a type of Christ. He's a foreshadowing of Christ.
He is a contemporary of Abraham, a
Let me
real
ask you a question. How many times is Melchizedek mentioned in the Old Testament?
One second,
I want to
don't
see how
jump.
much you know about Melchizedek.
Don't jump away. So now we have identified an individual who was contemporary with Abraham, right? Contemporary with Abraham. So Melchizedek being a contemporary of Abraham, he has no mother and no genealogy. Jesus, on the other hand, has a mother and has a genealogy.
He doesn't have a
So,
father.
wait a
And
second.
his mother, the motherhood of Mary is
I
different
have
to
given
ordinary
you
motherhood.
two
Virgin
indicators.
conception.
Look, two indicators of a difference.
How often does that happen?
Mother and a genealogy. Melchizedek has none. Jesus happens to have a mother and a genealogy. To say that Melchizedek is Jesus or Jesus is Melchizedek is not
How much
contextual.
Yeah, but
Old
they're not the
Testament
same.
knowledge do you have, Melchizedek?
Right,
No, I'm asking the
For
question.
example, like,
How much do you have?
The Bible in
More than
Aramaic.
that? Excellent, excellent. Wait,
How many
wait,
times in the Old Testament?
wait.
But like,
Don't try to
I want to go to
waffle around.
Melchizedek. I want to go to. I want to talk about Melchizedek.
Go to Melchizedek and tell me.
Tell me which are the two verses in the
Look,
Old
look,
Testament
look.
where he's named.
You're not going to ask me what I know. Look.
Do you know? Name me the two times in the
I
Old
don't have
Testament.
to. That's not the
You don't
point.
know. You don't know.
For example,
Do you know?
Yes, I do.
Wait.
Yes.
Who cares? The
I
question
can.
now,
I can, because I'm going to show you.
the question is now, is
And
Melchizedek,
that's the way in which we take it.
who has no genealogy,
Yeah.
no mother, the same as Jesus, when Jesus
Yes,
has a
Melchizedek
genealogy?
is a theophany of Christ. He is a type and shadow of the Lord Jesus Christ. And
Jesus
Christ
has a
is
mother.
called not an ordinary mother, not by ordinary
me?
biological descent. Virgin
Jesus doesn't
birth,
have a mother?
Conceived in the womb of the Blessed Virgin Mary by the Holy
Jesus
Spirit.
doesn't have a mother?
Not in ordinary sense of the word. Being
So
the divine
every
Son of
time
God.
you have a concept in the Bible, you're going to say, not in
Let me
ordinary
ask you a
sense.
question. Why is it in Psalm 110 that the Messiah, the Christ, is called a priest after the order of Melchizedek? Psalm 110.
I am not going to deal with...
Oh, you brought up Melchizedek, but you don't want to talk about
I want to talk about
Melchizedek.
Melchizedek.
You brought him up.
Is
We were talking about John
Melchizedek-
17 verse 5.
Is Melchizedek someone who is one with no genealogy?
Yes.
Does Jesus have a genealogy?
Jesus is a type of Melchizedek.
I asked
that
you
he
a
does
simple
not
question.
have-
I don't have to get
he
an
does not- he
answer
does not
because
have
he
a-
has a genealogy. That's why
Who
you
is
have...
Christ's human father? According to, as a Muslim, who is Christ's human father?
You are really running away from the subject matter. Jesus has a genealogy.
Who
Every
is his
single...
father? Who
Wait,
is
wait,
the
wait.
father of Jesus? According to the
One
Quran,
second.
Who is the father of
First, ask this question to yourself. Does the Bible give Jesus a genealogy?
Jesus? Who is the father of Jesus?
Answer the
according to
question.
I'm asking
Answer that question.
Yes, he is the son of God. That is his genealogy.
Does the Bible give Jesus a genealogy? The answer is what? Yes.
Yes,
Jesus
the
have a
son-
genealogy.
The son of God, according to the Spirit. The son of
He
David,
has a
according to the
genealogy.
flesh.
Why can't
Yes.
you be straight? Why are you so afraid?
I'm not afraid.
Right. Does he have a genealogy?
The son of God, according to the Spirit. The son of David.
The
according to
answers
the
are
flesh.
simple, my friend. Make it simple. Does he have a genealogy?
Does he has genealogies recorded in the Gospels.
He has a
according
genealogy.
to
Good. That's it.
descent.
That's
According
it.
to human
Make it
descent.
genealogy. Does Melchizedek have a genealogy?
No.
Then he's not Jesus.
So why is Christ called a priest after the
Don't
order of
say
Melchizedek?
Jesus is Melchizedek because they are different
He is
in
a
terms of characteristics.
theophany of Christ, a type and foreshadow of Christ. It's not one-to-one correspondence, it's analogy. Just as David was a type of Christ, Solomon was a type of Christ, we see foreshadows in the Old Testament that are fulfilled in the New Testament. Just as Christ himself said that the temple was a foreshadowing of his own body, destroyed and raised in 3 days according to the scriptures.
So Melchizedek is Jesus, right?
As God as well.
Do you
Yeah,
consider
we-
Melchizedek? Do you worship
Yeah.
Melchizedek?
Do I worship Melchizedek?
Yeah.
No, but I worship the Christ.
Sorry, what did you say? Wait.
Let me
Slow down.
I'm gonna also
No, slow down. You said no, 120 miles per second.
Yeah.
Did you say yes or no?
I will answer from the scriptures, from Psalm 110, verse 3.
Yeah.
Verse 4. Yahweh has sworn his mind and would not change his mind. You are a priest forever, according to the order of Melchizedek. Christ, God the Son, is called a priest after the order of Melchizedek.
What does it even mean?
And it means he is a priest that never dies. Melchizedek never dies.
It doesn't mean he is Melchizedek.
It means that Melchizedek is
He's
a
in the
theophany.
order of.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean he
Melchizedek
is.
is a type of Christ.
So now, do you worship Melchizedek?
We worship the one who is the priest after the order of
I asked you a simple question. Why are you Christians so really complicated? Do you worship Christ?
Yes.
Right. Do you worship Melchizedek, who is Christ?
We worship the one who is the priest after the order.
Now that really shows you are really in a mess with your theology. You said you're trying so hard to prove, you're trying so hard to prove Jesus is Melchizedek, Jesus is God, and you worship him. And yet, Jesus, who is Melchizedek, you don't worship him. If Melchizedek and Jesus is the same individual, why are you interrupting him? Why are you interrupting him? Excuse me, I'm not listening to him, so ignore him. Hecklers need to be ignored. You consider Jesus to be Melchizedek, and yet being the same.
Before we started, he knows it. I said to him, we only speak to respectful individuals, and there's no interference.
So you consider Jesus is Melchizedek?
I think he's a type of Christ. He's a type of Christ.
So it's a different person. A different person.
Sure.
Say that again. Is that a different person?
Yeah, it could be a literary representation.
He said yes. What are you saying?
It could either be a literary representation of Christ, or
is it a different person?
Sure.
I want to hear from you.
I think he's a theophany of Christ, but I recognize.
I want you to tell us: is he a different person? Simple answer. Don't complicate
things. I think
things.
he's a theophany of Christ.
So simple answer: is he a different person?
I think he's a theophany of Christ.
Look.
Do you know
what my question means?
Do you know what that means?
One second.
I guess he doesn't know what
Do you know what a different person means?
Yes.
What does it mean, Mansour?
Is he the same person or a different person?
I think he's a theophany of Christ.
No. Answer my question.
Those two things are not mutually exclusive.
Answer my question. Is he the same person or a different person?
We don't worship the angel of the Lord. We also believe that the angel of the Lord is the
that really shows the mess this theology is in. I'm asking you a very simple question. Look, the audience who are going to listen later, they will understand what I'm talking about. Is Jesus the same person or a different person to Melchizedek?
From the Old Testament, a time when the divine.
You can't have in the middle. Either he's the same person, same individual, or he's a different individual.
Allah in the burning
What's
bush.
the case?
This is theophany.
What's the case?
Now, when Allah is in the burning bush,
Is he
a different person?
the same person or a different person?
I think he's a theophany of Christ.
Answer my question.
Yes, but you don't get
Is he the same person or a different person? I give you a binary
What's
option.
the theophany?
Binary option. Like,
Right, but
does
it
God
doesn't have to
exist
comply
or
to
does he not
binary
exist? It's a binary question. It's not maybe in the middle.
Well, it is a maybe.
So,
what's the theophany?
look. When somebody says about the existence of God, he says there may be a maybe option.
Yes.
What a silly
Mansour
response.
said either God exists or he doesn't exist.
When it comes to the existence, of God, either God exists or God doesn't exist. There's no third in the middle.
Right, but God isn't a being.
Anyone with a sound intellect would know that's the case. Right. So now I'm asking you can you ask him to not to talk over you? Because he doesn't think you have he thinks you haven't got a brain cell. He thinks he needs to tell me over you because you are incapable of speaking to me.
will not actually answer his question.
You are like a baby child. You can't even speak. That's what he's doing. So now, are you going to tell him off to have a discussion with me?
No, Mansour, no way. You can tell me.
Right. So I'm asking this question.
Mansour,
Simple
what
question.
is the theophany?
Is Jesus the same person as Melchizedek or a different person? It's a simple question.
He's giving his answer. We want to hear your
I think he is Old Testament revelation of Jesus Christ. As for being the same person, I cannot say.
Look, it's only two options, my friend.
No, there isn't.
It's one or the other.
There's many more.
What are the other options?
It could be a typology of Christ.
Yeah, that's
for
a
example.
typology of Christ.
Meaning he's not the same person.
That may be the case.
Right. So now you only have two options. You are either the same person or you are a different person. Which one is it? Because this is where it's going to now determine Melchizedek is a different God or not. No. I am going to now argue that Melchizedek is one of your gods, which you don't worship. So now I want to now know, is Jesus the same person as Melchizedek or a different? We can go in both of the possibilities and explain to you why both of the options leads to a mess in your theology.
So if I were to say he's a literary representation of Christ,
What does it even mean?
it means that his genealogy is not recorded in the scriptures.
Is he Melchizedek or is he a type of Melchizedek?
You asked the question. He was answering you.
Is he
and you cut
the
him
same
off.
person?
So now you're being rude.
For example,
Go back and
look,
listen to the answer
you
he
can
gave
be
you.
a heckler like him.
Mansour, you asked him a question.
You're a different
If I
person.
were to say, if he was a literary representation of Christ,
What does it mean?
not being literally,
What does it even mean?
meaning that
Let
the
him
way
answer
he
you,
is
brother.
described in
Sir?
Genesis 14 is analogous to the way Christ came into the world, having neither father or mother, nor his death being recorded, but rather being eternal and persisting forever, represents the Son of God.
Different person. Well done.
Okay,
So
so
now,
let's say,
Akhi,
That's not what he said.
when he was speaking, he didn't interject. Can you ask your kind friend, when Mansour, can I be decency individual and say when Mansour is speaking, give him the same courtesy that he's giving you. No, but can you advise your
let's say,
friend?
let's say I give you the.
Please, wait.
Can I say that?
Right
Wait,
now,
wait,
he's
wait.
talking,
No, please,
you're interrupting him.
please, brother. Please, brother.
Let's say I give you the
Look,
benefit
I
of the
didn't
doubt.
interrupt when
You're
you were
And I
interrupting
say
him.
that he is a different person.
Can you
What would
advise
you
You're
then say?
interrupting him. This is
right,
fine.
if he's a different person, now we have another individual who has no beginning of days, nor end of days. Hang on. The Bible describes what it is. So he has no end of days, no beginning of days. He lives continuously, right? No father, no mother, no genealogy, no beginning of days, no end of days. Now, such a description is only befitting for an individual or a type of existence which we say is befitting to God. Right, God. Can you now tell me, other than God, can there be another being who has no beginning, no end?
Yeah. That's not recorded. That's all.
Tell me, other than God, can there be other existence which has no beginning and no end?
In terms of it being recorded, anybody can do that.
We would say potentially that a literary representation, not having actually persisting forever, but being living forever, in that his death is not recorded in the scriptures, nor is his spirit wanting word. And in that sense, represents a
Having
type
no
of-
beginning of days, you can't get rid of that. When you talk about Jesus is the
Yeah, we don't know when he was born.
no, this doesn't talk about born here.
Yeah,
This
it
is
does.
two things.
Beginning of days.
No beginning of days, nor end of days.
Yeah, we don't know. When is
Right.
all that? Simple.
Look. It doesn't say we don't
That's what
know.
we answered you.
The
So
text doesn't say we don't know.
it
Don't.
does. It just says no beginning of days.
The
That's
text
what it
says no beginning of days. So when Jesus says, "I am Alpha and Omega," does that mean
Let us look
only
at
what
the
you know and
Greek.
what you don't
Man,
know?
so let's go to the
Now,
Greek and show us that no means that there is literally no existence of him becoming into being or him dying.
so you have a
Mansour, go
text.
to the
I'm not
linear.
talking to you. Don't you
Go,
get it?
yes, you are now.
I'm not talking to you. I
Go
don't
to
care.
the linear.
Right, look.
Go to the
You want to talk
linear.
to me or what?
I'm listening.
No. You want to talk to me or not?
Anyone can
Because
jump
I don't
Prove it
want
to us.
hecklers. Because I don't want people who are.
You're making a positive claim.
You don't know
I want
him.
you to prove it.
You don't know
He
him.
does.
Right. You don't know him, do you?
He knows
What's
me.
your name?
You don't know what a heckler is.
Define it
I'm
for
not
us,
a
Mansour,
heckler, he's
please.
not a
Mansour,
Do you know what a
earlier
heckler
on
is?
when we had the
Define it
discussion
for us.
with
Do you know what a heckler is? Do you know what an insincere person is?
Okay.
Do you know what a comedian is?
Define it for us, Mansour.
Do you know what a clown is?
Because this thing all sound like you.
Fully embodied.
All right.
What?
What has he said that's
No.
clown? What has he said that's
Wait. A clown and a
That's like
comedian.
being
A clown and a comedian is making fun
A
of
clown
things,
and
right?
comedian.
He's not really a sincere person.
Okay.
He's just making a fun of things.
That's fine.
Right.
I'll
This
make
is what-
fun of you
Right.
and your horrible understanding of scripture.
You hear that?
So, Mansour, when it comes to
Yes. I need help with this guy. Right. Yeah. Deal with the heckler.
No worries.
So now we can talk.
Let's go back to John 17 verse
Go
5.
back
Yeah.
over.
So
Jesus
John
was
17 verse
with the
says
Father
what?
Before the world was. He was glorified with the Father.
Yeah. Go on. Deal with this guy.
So Jesus was glorified with the Father.
Shall we go on this side? Yeah. Let them have their fun, and we'll discuss here. Sorry.
I don't want to have the sequel round 3 or anything. That's
Right. So
I don't want to. No, I'm not. I don't want to be a savage.
come on. You came to Speaker's Corner. This is what's
Yeah, I
going
know.
to
I
happen.
didn't come to be.
What's your name?
So that's the thing. Let's continue this another time.
What's your name?
I'll continue this another time.
My name is Mansour. What's yours?
I'll continue this another time.
No problem. But no, just reflect on it. One thing I would say though, before I don't know whether look, I don't know whether we will live
Not the after
the very next
okay?
minute.
That's all.
But I want to share with something.
What's your share?
Islam is such a simple message to look.
But I want you to
No,
explain
I want.
Psalm 110.
I want you to understand before we depart, right? What I'm saying is, if you worship anything other than God or associate partner with Him, God in His final message tells us, hellfire will be the eternal abode, no coming out of it. If someone dies in a state of associating a partner with God, like a son or a daughter or whatever, and they die in that state without repenting, they will be in hellfire forever.
Okay, you can explain Psalm 110 to me in a way that...
Do you want to speak now or another time? Which time?
Another time.
Another time maybe, okay? Take care.
All right, good job, Mansour. Nice try, okay? Next time, come at me if you want, all right? Don't wait, Mansour, you're trying.
With this individual...
When you come to Melchizedek, all that is being talked about there is his genealogy. Nothing is being spoken about concerning, for example, him existing or him having no end of days. For example, he is the king of Salem. Salem is Jerusalem. So if he is supposedly the king forever, wasn't he the king of Jerusalem? Interpreting the scripture is incorrect. You know what? One day, I need to come to your mosque. I don't know why that's triggering me. Your parents are siblings, though.
Destroying
that's why you're so tiny.
Your mama had sex with your brother. I know you were sad. You just don't know where.
in which actually the verses that they bring along disproves the deity of Christ. One of the example is this. They say that God gave Jesus the glory even before the world began, something like that. What they don't realize is this. God is perfect. He is not deficient in any of his attributes. He is absolute in his attributes, perfect in his attributes. Like his knowledge, his power, there's no deficiency. If somebody is given power, if somebody is given authority, if somebody is given knowledge, if somebody is given glory, what that means is before it was given to them, they didn't possess it. That means they were glorious, they were powerless, they were knowledgeless. That means they were not God. So the verses they bring actually disproves the deity of Christ exactly how the Bible should do. Because Christ didn't come to tell the people that he was God. So any verses they bring goes against what they adhere to so much. Because the Bible is very clear. Jesus said in John 17:3.
No, maybe he realized,
He's the only true God who has sent Christ. So, according to John 17:3, which is a verse Christians, unfortunately, they wish it never existed. One day, I fear this verse will be expunged.
his mental problem.
I fear so much. So I want this message to be recorded in history so that if the Bible has expunged this
according to Bible, you are a dog.
at least you will know that this verse existed from this video. John 17:3, in which God is identified to be what? One person, not three like the Christians would like to believe. Another example, we talked about self-sufficiency. The individual I spoke to, hopefully we'll have another discussion, says the Father is self-sufficient and the Son is self-sufficient. So I'm going to ask those who are listening. If you are self-sufficient, that means you don't need anyone else for your existence. If I were self-sufficient, I don't even need God to exist because I exist by myself. That's what self-sufficiency means. That means if Jesus was self-sufficient, he doesn't need. If Jesus was self-sufficient, that means he doesn't even need the Father to exist for Jesus to exist. The fact that every Christian can come and say, no, Jesus needs the Father, demonstrates that Jesus was not self-sufficient. If you are not self-sufficient, you cannot be God. So this is something that I would like our Christian community to ponder and reflect on. Because the only being that can be God, in the real sense of the word God, is a being that is self-sufficient. The sovereign, the almighty, the absolute, the independent. And that is Allah. who is not in any way, shape or form dependent on anyone or anything. In any other religion, if you find that someone needs someone else for their existence, like Christ needs Father to eternally, atemporally beget him. He's eternally dependent. Means he can never be God. He's eternally not God. Eternally not God. Not certain point of time, eternally not God, because he's eternally dependent on God. So that really shows you don't need any other arguments to disprove the deity of Christ. You only need one argument, only. It takes about 30 seconds. Who is self-sufficient? If Jesus is not self-sufficient, it's not. وآخر دعوانا السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.